Hello, I'm Lilith Dorsey, voodoo priestess, author, filmmaker, and I'd like to welcome you to tonight's full moon magical night market. I love being part of the night market because it really allows me to connect with people during these difficult times where we can't always get together face to face anymore. And the full moon is such a powerful time. So we're going to talk about some water magic tonight because, well, I have a new book called Water Magic coming out by Llewellyn. I don't have the physical copy yet, but you can kind of see badly on my phone what the cover looks like. But it really is your comprehensive guide to everything that water has to do concerning magic, every kind of blessing, every kind of sacred site related to water, every kind of deity, god, goddess, magical animal related to water. So it really allows you to explore the elemental water in a deeper way, pardon the pun. But tonight we're going to talk about different kinds of water that you can use in your magic. And we're going to start with spring water. Now, spring water, most commonly, probably you'll see it in a bottle like this, which I hope you recycle. And spring water takes on the character of whatever spring it comes from. So you can get spring water from Fiji. You can get spring water from Hawaii. You can get spring water that's made from glacial springs. You can get pretty much any kind of spring water that you want. And each one of those locations will give a slightly different magical energy to the water. And just be mindful of that when you're putting together your own magical baths or washes or, any kind of sprinkling water that you can do in order to improve your magic on yourself and your home. So the next thing we're going to talk about is rainwater. Now, the best rainwater to use for your magic is May rainwater. That means rainwater that's collected during the month of May. And that's because it has the influence of the witchcraft Sabbath of Beltane or Beltane. And that happens usually around May 1st. Most people celebrate that. And it's really a time for celebrating fertility and renewal and abundance and being alive and coming back to life after a long winter and being able to have that kind of great joy. So I like to use May rainwater in my magic because it can add that quality of abundance and joy to whatever work it is that I'm doing. Now, if you take that a little bit further, think about using storm water. Now, storm water can be used to strengthen a spell. It can be used for protection magic, or it can be used for negative magics in the sense of cursing or revenge. I don't recommend those kinds of things, but sometimes people need to do these things. So I'm just going to leave that out there for you. Now, if you take another step further down the road from storm water, you start thinking about things like hurricane water. We've had a couple of hurricanes in the recent past, and I hope everybody's safe. And if you got a chance to collect some of that water, you can use that for quick and sudden change in your life. It has all the powerful qualities of storm water just amped up to 11. Basically, kind of normal water that I'd like to talk about today is urban water. And I mentioned I live in New Orleans. Before that, I lived in Brooklyn, and I'm pretty much a city girl. I'm an urban girl. As much as I love gardening and things like that, I really am a city person. And urban water has its own magic in and of itself, because what it does is it comes from a source, usually the closest river here in New Orleans. Much of our water comes from the Mississippi, and it snakes down into the city, and it goes underneath in the pipes, and it snakes up into your house and comes out your faucet. So what it does is pick up the spirit of place all the way along. So it has that kind of native energy because it's the body of water closest to where you're living. And then it also has that kind of personalized energy because it runs through your city and then runs along your house and comes out your faucet to get specifically to you. So this allows it to have a character that's unique to yourself. Only your water is going to come out of your faucet. And I think when I want to add a little bit of myself to a spell, very often I will add my tap water because that is representative of who I am and where I am at that moment. Now, there are other kinds of magical water formulas that people are probably familiar with. The most famous one is Florida water. I'm a big believer in Florida water, particularly this brand of Florida water, Murray and Landman. It's been in effect. They've been running their company since, I believe, 1811, which is a very long time, over 200 years. There's not too many companies that have been in business for over 200 years. And there's lots of things you can do with Florida water. You can use it for blessings, you can use it for cleansings, you can use it to add to your magical baths or your magical waters or your magical anything really that you can add a liquid to. What else are we going to look at today? We're going to look at holy water. You can usually get holy water from a font in a Catholic church, either for a donation or for, you know, whatever. Actually, they leave it out there and you can use it. I like leaving a donation just because I believe that there's good mojo in equal energy exchange. If I'm taking something from them, then I want to leave something, even if it's just some coins or a, you know, a symbolic donation. Now, I know a lot of people have problems with traditional religion, specifically the Catholic Church. So if you don't want to go into the church and get the holy water, you can buy holy water online. If you don't want to do that at all, you can make your own holy water by getting somebody who is a respected elder of yours to bless the water. I remember one time many years ago, I was at a pagan event and I needed to make some holy water, and I brought it to the head druid, and I brought it to the head, you know, Wiccan priestess, and I brought it to all the other elders that were in the area and got them to bless it, and that was our own special pagan holy water. Today is cemetery water. So I have cemetery water from people that have passed who I loved. You know, they have faucets in the cemetery that you can use to water the plants and things like that. So every time I'm there again, I leave a donation. Maybe it's just a flower or a kind word or a thought, and I take some water from the faucet at the cemetery, and then I use that in my magic, particularly this time of year as we get near Samhain. Having water that comes from the cemetery, that comes from near my ancestors, I think is something that's really special. We're going to make something today because I love making things, and what we're going to make is some moon water. Now, you can make moon water on the full moon, or you can make moon water on the new moon. So when you're viewing this, it'll be the full moon. It'll be a great time to go out and make full moon water. You can use full moon water for prosperity magic, for abundance magic, for success magic, for all of these things. Now, new moon water is usually made for removing things, for protection, for getting rid of unwanted influences. That's the kind of difference. And it's really just based on the moon phase. The ingredients would be the same no matter what time of moon transit you were working with. So you're going to get yourself a big bottle, preferably glass. I like natural things whenever I can. And what you're going to do is first put some of your own tap water in it, because that's going to give your own spirit of place. Then you're going to add some spring water to it. Again, spirit of place, also granting us the spirit of renewal and energy. Hopefully you have these things in your house. If you don't, the energy of the full moon really lasts from the day before the actual full moon time to the day after the actual full moon time. So we have a little bit magical leeway on either side of the specific time when the moon is full or the specific time when the moon is new. Now to this, we're going to add some Florida water. Like I said, Florida water is really good for blessings, for cleansings. It has a lot of floral scents in it. It also has a lot of happy notes like bergamot and some of these other oils that I really love. This particular one is a secret formula, so nobody will ever really know. There is a formula in my new book, Water Magic, for it if you want to try and make your own. So you've got that, the Florida water, the tap water, the spring water. Now I'm going to add some rose water. Like I said, to make sure my magic is happy and joyous, and what's coming to me is going to be successful and abundant. So we're going to add some rose water. And now's the part where you can add whatever you want. Now, if you're doing something for abundance or prosperity magic concerning money or success in your job or business kinds of things, you might want to consider adding myrrh or adding patchouli oil, just a couple of drops in the top. If you are working on bringing love into your life and attracting abundant love and joy into your life, then I would consider adding something like ylang ylang oil, or adding maybe even, I like happy things. I like sunflowers. I like, you know, heliochrysum. which is, you know, that's my bastardized way of saying sunflower oil. That's what essential oil of sunflower, not sunflower oil you cook with, just so, you know, nobody gets that mixed up. But this is really the part where you personalize it to yourself. So whatever your favorite oils are for accomplishing the desires that you want, you put it into that at this point. Now, the charge and consecrate this water mixture, moon water mixture, is to go back and forth like in the shape of a crossroads with the bottle over a candle flame. So 1, 2, back to the center, 1, 2, 3, 4. That symbolizes it can go into the world of the visible and the invisible. It symbolizes it can go into the physical world and the spiritual world at the same time. And it also grants it the blessing of the fire, so the element of fire. The element of water is already present because you have all your lovely water here in the moon water bottle. The next element that you're going to consider adding is air. Now, there's a couple of ways you can do this. You could light some incense, which I have right here, and use that to bless the bottle. Again, you're going to want to make a cross over the smoke. Another way you can do it is by simply using your breath and blowing on it with a long, slow exhalation. That's another way to charge it up with the spirit of air and also your own personal spirit as it goes into the mixture that you're making. So now we've done water, we've done fire, and we've done air. The only other element left is earth. Now, one of the easiest ways to do that is by charging it with a crystal, which comes from the earth. Since we're talking about making moon water, you might want to use a moon type crystal such as moonstone, or you might even want to use a piece of selenite. I have a piece of selenite here. Now, a lot of crystals will degrade if you put them in water, and some of them are even toxic if you put them in water because some of their trace minerals will leach out into the water. So I usually recommend doing your homework if you're thinking about putting it in, but you can just as easily leave it on the outside. You could get a piece of string or a piece of cord or even a rubber band and attaching it to the outside of the bottle. And that will get the energies of the crystal in there. They even make bottles now that have crystals on the outside of the bottle for people who want to get the sacred energy of the crystal without actually dipping it in the water. So now you're going to take this and you're going to take it outside and you're going to leave it somewhere where the moon's rays can bless it. Now, what happens if you don't have an outside? If you don't have an outside space that's yours, maybe you live in an apartment, you can put it on the windowsill where the moon's rays will touch it. You can put it pretty much anywhere that it can be, you know, shined down on by the moon's light and the moon's energy. If you do have a yard, or you're lucky enough to have access to the outdoors where your bottle will be undisturbed, then by all means, please put it out there somewhere where somebody's not going to find it, but the rays can still get to it. Now you leave it out there overnight. So from dusk to dawn, and that way it will be blessed by the moon's rays. And then it's pretty much like capturing the sacred energy of the moon in the bottle. So then maybe you want to have the influence of the full moon, but the full moon is not up in the sky at that time. Then you can take out the water. You can use it to bless yourself by gently washing off your hands or the top of your head or your feet. So everywhere you go is blessed and protected by the energy of the full moon. You could also put some in your bath. You could put some in your wash water when you're cleaning. So this really is sort of an all-purpose water that you can use for anything. And it's good as long as it stays good, depending on how long. If you open it and it looks all nasty and funky, throw it out, make some more the next full moon. That's usually my best advice. Some of the essential oils you might be using might spoil quicker than others. That's why I can't give you a specific time limit, but just check it before you use it, especially if you've had it for a long time, just to make sure it's still good and it's not time to make more. So thank you everybody for having me back on the Full Moon Magical Night Market. I finally got the name right. It's a lot of words, but I'm so happy to take part in this. And anybody who wants to send me an email, my email is voodoouniverse@yahoo.com. I'll be happy to send them a free sticker for my new book, Water Magic. I still even have a couple of stickers left from my last new book, Orisha's Goddesses and Voodoo Queens, that just came out a couple of months ago. I got a lot of books coming out this year. And I also have my book, Love Magic. We don't have any stickers, but you can still order it online, or if you want, you can email me and order a signed copy directly from me. So thanks everybody for letting me take part. Have a wonderful full moon. Have a wonderful Samhain season, and many blessings.